You know what it's time for.
To do what Falcons do. Look at that.
Guys, here's what we're doing. We're going to run the piss out of this football. Hey, I got you. We're getting ready to run the piss out of football. Time to get something going. I got you.
I love that soundbite so fucking much because he really meant it and we really did it. And for whatever reason, this past Sunday, we got away from that.
Based on what I saw and what I listened to, because I watch games, I take my notes, I make my observations, and then I go listen to people who are smarter than me about the game to try to grab some more insight, seeing things that I missed. Detroit told us they weren't going to allow us to run the ball. We could not establish a run game, and they said, hey, Desmond Ritter beat us. And in our conversations, our public conversations on this platform,
yes,
our private conversations, whether together or with or in a group text or amongst friends, was always when we have to play that type of game, Desmond Ritter, come beat us. We did not have any confidence that Desmond Ritter could win those games.
No, and that was the biggest takeaway that I took away from the game. Obviously, like I said last week, you knew, and obviously you just knew this in general. I was at the game, and this is what I'll say. I'll give Desmond Ritter some slack on one thing, maybe. This is his first game ever was at the Superdome. So I know that game was sold out because the Falcons and Saints, that's what happens in those football games. So I know that he's dealt with that type of noise. Detroit fans bring it. They bring it. It was nothing but blue. It was very much so a home field advantage in there. It's actually funny. It's the one thing that I ever give the Saints credit for. Second best fan, I won't say experience, but second best fan base for a road game I've been to ever, for sure.
So better than Philly.
Yeah, honestly. You know what the thing is with Philly, and maybe it's because it's not a dome, but
loud.
It wasn't as loud. Detroit gets loud. New Orleans is number one. I think the Superdome is hell. Literally, it's hell. And so Detroit, they bring the noise. Everybody, and this is another thing too that makes these games different. You know, at Falcons games, there are people that don't wear Falcons gear that are, I guess, going for the Falcons. Everybody in Detroit's wearing blue. They're all wearing jerseys. They're all wearing T-shirts, jackets, whatever. Fleece, pullover, blazer.
Quarters.
They're going to make sure it's royal blue, though. And I thought we handled it pretty well early. But Desmond Ritter, I could tell every time he went up was doing this. He was doing it. So I could tell that the home field advantage definitely did hurt them. I don't remember us getting too many penalties. It just seemed like we didn't execute. The offensive line looked horrible. Desmond Ritter looked horrible. And the biggest takeaway I took from the game was that if we can't run the ball, we will not win any football games. We won't. We just won't win football games because Desmond Ritter doesn't have the arm to bail us out at any moment.
Or the legs.
Or just the vision. And look, we talked about this going into the season. We want to be wrong about this. We really do because we want to win. And we think that we have a good enough team to where this is a year where you can win the division and you build upon that for next season. We don't expect to win the Super Bowl this year. I do, however, expect us to not only be competitive. We've been competitive really the last 2 years for what it's worth with Arthur Smith. I thought it was poor play calling, to be completely honest. I thought that the play calling was pretty poor too. Desmond Ritter, I think, threw the ball 38 times. There should never be a game where he throws the ball 38 times because he can't complete 30 of the passes. So we didn't utilize the screen game the way I hoped, because if we were going to throw the ball, my thought would be you're going to do that. Now, look, what's his face from the Lions was all over the fucking place. Brian Branch.
Yeah.
That boy might make the Pro Bowl this year as a rookie. He's that good. I think he is.
Little green helmet flicky thingy.
Yeah, and didn't he got the pick six on the Mahomes from the he scored that. That boy is very much so on his way to being an all-pro safety. But we got an all-pro safety too, which shout outs to JB3, Jesse Bates. Shout outs to Jesse Bates II. I sat next to his dad at the game, and his sister was behind me. And for anyone that actually was watching the game on TV, after he caught the interception, he did throw the ball in the crowd, and I'm actually the person that caught it. I gave it to his sister who was sitting behind me because I knew the ball wasn't intended. It was obviously was in our vicinity. I knew who he was trying to throw it to, and would have been a hell of a souvenir to have, honestly, because I've never gotten a football at a game. But I did the right thing and gave it to the family, especially because I had such good conversation with them in general. But, yeah, disappointing game by the Falcons. Just
question for you.
Dominated on both sides of the line. Ritter got sacked, I think, 6 or 7 times.
7.
And we obviously got no pressure. So,
question for you. What do you say to the criticism of Arthur Smith for the max protection, the 2-man routes? Do you think he should have put less in protection and more receivers out for maybe a short, quick game?
You know what? The funny thing is, me and JB2, we talked about this at halftime of the game. You want to know what? And it's funny because obviously I like getting the perspective. NBA is different because I feel like basketball circles everybody. There's this weird thing of where everybody knows each other with the basketball circle. Football circle is so different. I'm not a part of a football circle. I'm a part of a basketball one, but just in general, the parents even chiming in, having a conversation with him. We talked about the offense. Obviously, his son plays defense. The first thing that he said to me was, I don't understand why Tyler Algier doesn't get the ball more. He said, Bijan's the new toy, clearly elite, whatever. They need to be giving Algier the ball more in a game like this because this has been a dogfight type of game, which it had been. It was at halftime, it was 10-3, but it was 3-3 at one point, and it was clearly one of those games where we probably still needed to just try and impose our will running. And the one thing I told him, and what I think could have evaded doing that 2-man, for protection purposes, screenplays for one, but 2, I told him, I said, well, why don't we ever just put Bijan and Algier out in the field at the same time? Why not have Algier in the backfield? Bijan lines up in the slot, motions. You could easily do a sweep because Bijan clearly gets around that corner really quick.
Boy.
Of course, he could just run and still run a route. He could be out in the flat for a quick pass. That way Ritter can throw it. If the protection's not good, you can still hand it off to Algier. I mean, he's got to be able to read what he sees in that defense, whether, it's a cover 2, they're pressing man, it's cover 0, like whatever the fuck is going on. Brian Branch is playing his brains out, but you're a running football team. Why are we getting away from this? And we're throwing these passes. And then there was even a video I got to see, and I thought I remember seeing it at the game. He just completely misses Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts got wide open. And we talk about them throwing it to him. He just overthrew the ball, man. And he catches that. If he throws it on the money, Pitts scores. We probably score a touchdown in the game. At least, even if we lose, that play alone. And momentum's a real thing, too. There was just so much wrong with that game. I walked away very disappointed because I said to myself, if we can't run the ball, we're not going to win football games.
So I'm an Arthur Smith believer and an Arthur Smith defender.
Both of us.
And although I didn't like the volume in which we passed the ball, I do think that that's what the defense was dictating to us. But I also think that Arthur Smith is coaching around Desmond Ritter. And it scares me because it makes me wonder who's buying the groceries.
I love because this is the Parcells thing, right?
Yeah.
This is like one of the best, what would it be?
quotes, philosophy,
quotes. But what do you when you compare something?
Metaphor.
It's
Cowherd level type shit.
I love this though.
But it just makes me wonder who's buying the groceries. And obviously you have Terry Fontenot coming from New Orleans, that Sean Payton, Mickey Loomis system. Then you have Arthur Smith coming from the Vrabel Mike Mularkey, run the piss out of the ball system. Let's control pace, let's control the ball. Let's cover up our defense with our run game. Try to play good three-phase football, tie offense to defense to special teams, which I think we do a pretty good job of trying to do. But, man, I just think he's coaching around the quarterback and trying to cover up his deficiencies.
For sure.
And by covering up his deficiencies, we're not running the best plays for the situation because we're running the best plays that our quarterback can run. And unfortunately, we can't open up the entire playbook to see what Arthur Smith can do as a play caller because we have a quarterback who is only better than Zach Wilson and Justin Fields.
I mean, do you think he's even better than Justin Fields? And look,
I've seen nothing redeemable from Justin Fields this year. So
I think that Justin Fields can at least run the ball. I mean,
yes,
Michael Vick. He can Michael Vick the hell out of the game. That's what when they beat the Patriots on Monday night. Do you remember that game?
Yeah.
Like there's something to where he can win a game by himself that I've seen against a competent football team and a greatest head coach ever. There is nothing that tells me that if we ever can't run the ball, we won't. Man, let me tell you, I swear we won't win a game. The next time we play the Carolina Panthers, if they completely shut down the run, Desmond Ritter's arm is not going to win us a game. Like, we will not win a game with just his arm. He does not have that quality. He doesn't have that skill. He's not
a natural passer of the football.
I just wish that he was, even if he was just a smarter quarterback, right? Checking out a play. Like, there's nothing that I've seen outside of last week, or not this past week, but the Packers game. I saw moxie. That might be the only thing I know. I think he'd make a great backup for a team because he is one of these guys that believes in himself. He's trying. He says all the right stuff. There's nothing wrong with him personally. There's nothing personal. He just isn't good at football to me. And like, he's backup material football. Like, and that's okay. Like, not everybody's supposed to make it. Like, look, I wish I wanted to be in the NBA, bro. I'm not NBA material. That's why I'm not fucking training camp right now. Like I'm not supposed to be in the NBA, and that's okay. I know that. Management needs to know that, though. Like, that's what's important about them, like about him specifically. Management needs to point that out and really take a long look at it. I can't wait to see what they do this Sunday because this will be the longest plane ride home if they get embarrassed. And it sets up for us to not only lose this game, but low-key get embarrassed. Jacksonville needs to take something out on somebody because they played okay against the Chiefs, I guess. They only lost by 8, but they got beat by the Texans, who have had their number, actually. It was crazy. I looked at the number. They've had their number over the years, but they still got beat at home by double digits, and that shouldn't have happened. They were a double-digit favorite almost. There was no reason that they should have gotten beat like that. Trevor Lawrence tweeted out a writing note emoji. That motherfucker's about to try and throw for 400 yards. And Calvin Ridley, obviously, he's got – you know what he wants to do. So, like, I could see this game getting very ugly, not from the sense of our defense not showing up, because if there was a positive takeaway from the Lions game, the defense played well.
Yeah.
They played well enough for us to win the game. Yeah. They played well enough, but you're getting a team that's pissed off and that really can't afford to lose either, because all it takes is for the Colts to beat the Rams and then Jonathan Taylor potentially coming back and maybe saying, you know what, I like this 3-1 Colts team. Zach Moss is eating. let me in on the action. Fuck it. I'll run my last year, or we could talk about it later. You don't want them to go 3-1, and then they're sitting at 1-2, getting ready to face us in a division where we could actually drop this game, oddly enough, and still be okay. But they better do something, is all I'm saying.
So to put a bow on this Falcons topic, I forgot to put the Falcons first ticker on there to be okay. But we are still tied for first in the division. New Orleans has lost Derek Carr. He's week to week. Some would say they would have won that game if Derek Carr stays in. I don't have that belief because he's Derek Carr. Baker came back down to earth on Monday Night Football. And, hey, we lost our first game. And no one's worried about the Frank Reich's Panthers because Frank Reich's not good at coaching football. He and Desmond Ritter should unite in the USFL or something.